Closed captioning for The Casey Malone Show is sponsored by Hunter Stevens Land Title Agency. Integrity, service, and commitment you can trust.
Oh, yeah. Casey Malone is serving up local. It's time for the stories of our region, the tastes, the sights, the sounds, and the people in and around the valley. Get ready for some local flavor on the Casey Malone Show.
Today, I visit the Tomco's at a Tip of the Cap mushrooms. It is so interesting. And I prepare mushroom barley soup with their shrooms. But first, much more than a doll collection. Carolyn Merrifield owns a dollhouse. Literally. Well, I'm here with Carolyn Merrifield, and I've got to tell you, when your daughter Sue called me, she said that you really had a doll collection that was something else. But it's not a doll collection. It is way more than dolls. You don't live here. This is your dollhouse, literally.
Right.
It's overwhelming. From the basement to the attic, you are loaded for bear. What was your very first doll that really made you fall in love with dolls?
I liked dolls from the very beginning, but my first one was a nun doll.
A nun!
Yeah.
Sister Agnes, right.
4 years old, I got it. They passed it around at the dinner table and to show everybody, but I wasn't allowed to touch it. So, so it didn't get messed up.
Oh, it was one of those,
Yes.
yes, a really nice doll, not a play with doll.
No, I think it's when I really started was 1985 when the Cabbage Patch doll came out.
Oh boy,
Yes. Couldn't buy them. You had to go hunt for them.
Right, I can remember everybody was on the lookout. They were up in Cleveland, we're in Youngstown. Everyone's waiting for the stores to open. How many Cabbage Patches do you think you have?
Oh, 2,000 maybe?
30 dollhouses.
No, 60.
60. I'm sorry, 60. I cut them in half.
60. I started in 92 when my husband had passed away. He had bought me a dollhouse for Christmas. And I kept that took care of and enjoyed that dollhouse, the first one.
Right.
And that's the one right in the dining room there.
Okay. Oh, it looks like the White House.
Yes.
It looks like an Annabella mansion. Mm-hmm. You upcycle a lot of stuff.
Yes. I just buy everything little that, and I say, oh, I can make that into something. And I come home and I make something out of it.
How often do you come here and rearrange and start making things? Puzzles?
Oh, yes. I come about every other day or so, just to check on it. Well, I want to make sure that everything is okay and there's no flooding or anything like that. Well,
that would be, especially that basement. It's adorable what you have down there. And I noticed you're really big with Frozen.
Yes.
Why does Frozen
I just think the movie was so interesting and how it captured each other and made one well.
And you are a traveler.
Well,
you like to go.
Yes.
And some of your favorite destinations are?
Well, I've been to Brazil and I've been to 10 countries in Europe. And then 2 years ago, we went to Japan.
Yeah.
And then we took a road trip to San Francisco by a tent camping. So.
Well, you are quite adventuresome. You mentioned Brazil.
Yes.
And you were there as part of the Peace Corps.
Yes. We went for 3 months for language in Oklahoma. And then we went to Brazil. And I lived there 21 months.
You were 19 years old. Mm-hmm. President Kennedy was still our president. You were there in the 60s. Mm-hmm. Did he get assassinated while you were in Brazil?
Yes. We thought maybe we might go home at that time, and they said no. We got it on a shortwave radio.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
What did you do for the people of the towns and villages?
I was in 4-H. They didn't have water that was clean and that. And so we kind of got them to filter it and do things like that to it. And so it was an experience.
You had a taste for adventure. You really liked to go.
I started out in college at Ohio State. And I told my parents that I wasn't interested in book learning. And I says, I want to do something different. So I went and took the test for it, and I applied, and I was out to Oklahoma for 3 months.
Wow, that is really, really cool. And this is one of your favorite dolls.
Oh, yes.
Tell me about this guy.
My dad got me this when he was in the service. He was in the Army.
Oh, yeah.
In 1945.
Okay. This
And
guy,
I
it looks
played-
like he's been around a little bit.
He has a boo-boo eye.
What are your plans? Do your grandchildren, your daughter? I mean, what are you going to do with all this
Well,
stuff?
they're going to go to children after I pass away. My daughter's supposed to take them to the hospital and give them to children.
Sue Nepper is the one who turned me on to your mother's collection. And you're very tolerant.
Yes.
And I think you encourage it because I've seen some things that you have bought for her. You're like, oh, and it's the whole collection.
Yeah.
And do you also collect anything?
No. I refuse.
You live a very monk-like existence, nothing extra. What
Yes.
kind of gifts did you get growing up since your
all my-
mom was such a fan?
All my life I had dolls. All my life. Every year I got a new baby doll. Whatever was popular, I got the roller skating doll. And they're probably all here somewhere.
I'm sure they are.
Yeah,
what was your favorite? Do you remember?
It was called the Tubsy doll, and she went into the bathtub. And
Into the tub.
And then what's funny is when my oldest daughter got a Tubsy doll, I remember giving it to her for Christmas, and she running around, I've got the bathtub doll, I got the bathtub doll. She was so excited.
No,
But the
and-
one I honestly treasure the most is the last doll my dad got me, which, I was 16, and they're just these two little dolls, and they were not play dolls, it's just that he got them for me, and that meant a lot to me.
I know, and at 16, you're like, come on, Dad.
Yeah.
But it's so cute because you're always going to be his little girl.
Exactly.
Your mom's enthusiasm is infectious. It really is. I mean, she loves every one of these little things, and she has a little story for every little thing in her collection.
Yes.
We need so much more of this positivity in the world, and your mother she exudes happiness with all of these things. So, hey, if it brings her joy,
Absolutely.
it brings me joy, and obviously it brings you joy too.
Yeah.
You come over and you probably learn something new every time
And
you
I
come to this
benefit,
house.
honestly, it's funny too, because I teach and I benefit from it because I take things to my classroom and I
Yeah.
have little gadgets all over my room and my kids are like, where'd you get this from? I said, my mother,
can't believe
she found it. She found it somewhere. It's like,
We need a field trip here. Told you, the wedding room is amazing. Why the brides?
I just think brides are pretty.
They are. I mean, these are some sexy
Exactly.
brides here.
Yes.
You're all in.
Makes me happy.
It's not a little bit. You are all in, Caroline. What else? What else do you want to do? Where else do you want to go? And what else are you
I
going to
don't have any
acquire?
more room. I don't have much room.
You really
I
don't.
don't.
I think you're outgrowing this house.
Oh, yes. Yes.
Is it possible for you to go on a trip and not bring back anything?
Oh, no. Oh, no.
You gotta bring a U-Haul whenever you go away.
Right.
Oh,
Yeah.
and the stories continue.
Yes.
And the collection.
And the collection.
When I want local flavor, I watch the Casey Malone Show.
Make your voice heard.
Our elections are safe, secure, and transparent.
Exercise your right to vote. Vote early, absentee, or in person on Election Day.
Election Day is March 19th.
We are getting close. SCABA Camp is almost here. A year-round destination for adults with disabilities and their families to get away, close to home. Accessible to all, with no barriers. Donate now to GABA Camp. Help others to enjoy this unique recreational destination. For adults with disabilities and their families to enjoy an accessible camping experience. Donate to GABA Camp. Given is living.
Rulli Brothers has a great choice of quality cheeses. We use our relationship with Old World Houses to specially select the product and then have it custom cut and packaged by our own local artisans. At Rulli Brothers Market, our family is in the store.
Locally owned, Hurricane Health and Wellness will help you weather the storm of your weight loss struggles. Safe and discreet, our experienced telemed team will prescribe the proper weight loss medication. Powerful weight loss solutions. Hurricane Health and Wellness.
Kamara Jewelers is the place to buy an engagement ring because we want a relationship with you that lasts a lifetime. Your commitment with her is the same commitment we have to you.
We want to sit down with you and teach you about diamonds so you're educated on what you're buying. We have the largest selection we ever have, which is the largest in the area, and at the best value. And if it's not something in our case, we could always custom make it. We can make any dream come true.
Get real, get Kamara.
The 46th Annual Mahoning Valley St. Patrick's Day Parade is Sunday, March 10th. Enter your group, organization, or marching band at mvstpatrickparade.com.
I'm at the world headquarters for a Tip of the Cap Mushrooms. And this is run by Craig Tomko. And I've been enjoying the mushrooms from Rulli Brothers, and I had to come in when I found out you were local. Yep. And you have no idea the operation. I am shocked at what it takes to grow mushrooms. I thought, maybe it was some manure, throw some spores on it, and we got mushrooms.
Yeah, not quite.
It's a lot more scientific, isn't it?
It's a little deeper than that.
And what was your reasoning? Well, how did you get into mushrooms?
Well, it's kind of a strange story. We started, I was working for the sheriff's department, and I've always wanted to own my own business. And the opportunity came up, and my wife suggested growing mushrooms. And I kind of, okay, honey, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Great.
And did you know anything about it?
Nothing.
It was just out of the blue.
Right. So I started doing some research on it, and I thought, wow, this is really interesting, and it had a lot of aspects of things I like to do. Right. Like the lab work and stuff like that. I just find that fascinating. And so it combined a bunch of different things, and we had the space here that wasn't being used for anything.
Perfect.
Yes, it is. It is perfect environment. So we had the space, and I thought, I can do this.
So when you began, how long did it take from inception to your first product?
Almost a year.
Wow, I mean, that's,
almost a year.
Heavy time consuming.
Yeah, it was during COVID, and a lot of the resources for the right people to get to do this stuff weren't available.
Right.
So I had to learn to do a lot of it myself, and it started with painting and carpentry and plumbing and electrical and
you really need like a sterile environment to do this. You can't just...
Yeah, your mushrooms compete with other funguses and bacteria and things like that. And we try to create an environment for the mushrooms that is ideal for them to grow in. So you have to, it has to be very clean. There's a lot of equipment involved in making sure that mushroom has the perfect environment to
with
flourish
no contaminants or anything. But it starts with wood pellets and soybean
hull. Yeah.
Wow, so I mean, this looks like bunny food.
Yep. Yeah, actually it is used in bunny food.
Is it?
So, yep.
So these are the soybean pellets, and then these are the wood pellets. Is there any special wood?
Hardwoods. A lot of people like to use just oak, but mine is a mixture of different hardwoods that the mill that makes the pellets have available at that time.
So this is your base.
Yep.
And where do we go from here?
Well, it gets put in a grow bag, which looks like this, and water's added to it. It has a filtration patch for air exchange. And then it goes into our steam barrel over here, which it's not quite a sterilization process, it's actually a pasteurization process.
Okay.
But it's basically killing off all the competing bacteria and funguses and spores and everything else that the mushrooms would have to compete with.
After everything's been sterilized, you then inoculate.
Yes.
With the
liquid culture,
spores. Could you call them liquid spores?
They're not actually spores. You can start with spores, but it's a whole lot more work.
Okay.
So
because this is a lot of work.
Yeah.
I can't imagine more.
Spores are what the mushrooms actually drop.
Right.
You need 2 compatible spores to join together to make the gene set to form the mycelium that will grow mushrooms.
So this has been inoculated.
Yes.
And this white growth is good.
Yes, that's mycelium. That's the actual plant of a mushroom.
And then you want this whole bag to be white?
Yeah.
And then you know it's ready to go.
Right, and this will then inoculate 7 to 10 of my actual large grow blocks that we just talked about in the tank. That's
They're
the lab.
inoculated, and now they come in to incubate.
Right. This is
So
our
all
incubation
of
room
this
here.
is different stages.
Yep. You can see the difference in size. One
Right.
of these bags will inoculate 7 to 10 of these bags.
So now this is the big reveal. What do you call this room?
This is our grow room. This is where the magic happens.
All right, come
All
on
right.
in. Over here is where we have the lion's beard, lion's mane, and you just slice the bag and they just pop out the sides.
Yeah, you close the bag down over the block, cut a slice in the side, and that's where the mycelium will know to grow the mushrooms from.
What are your favorites, Jim?
I would have to say the pinks are my favorite. They taste wonderful, and I absolutely love the color.
And
I
how
think
would
they
you
look beautiful.
prepare that?
These ones, I've actually, oh man, I made my girlfriend a pink chicken linguine. So I took the pinks, I sauteed them down, a little salt, pepper, butter, garlic, and a little bit of our pink spice rub. Then I reduced that down, let the mushrooms cook until they were nice and small. I then used a cornstarch slurry to just thicken it up with a little bit of cream. Added that to the pasta and the sauteed chicken. It was absolutely phenomenal.
So now, Michelle, you are in charge of making sure these all get delivered, correct?
Correct, mostly, yes.
So look at these. These are going out today.
So we harvested those yesterday afternoon.
Mhm.
So
What
we
about
always
the
put the
pinks?
little tags on there when they were harvested, so
Yes,
you know.
the harvest date, and you say a good week.
Yeah. Some of them, like the king trumpets, it really just depends too on the environment that they're in the store. We try to like deliver twice a week so that we can
Beautiful.
keep the freshest ones there possible for everybody. But yeah,
These
a good
are
week.
absolutely beautiful. Now, you have got all kind of stuff going on. You're making spice rubs, and you're a very good cook. Telling you,
wait.
and there's going to be new varieties, and hopefully the shiitakes will be up by
Yes,
then.
I hope so. Yes.
Okay,
We'll
I really
definitely.
appreciate it.
Oh, I had so much
Thank
fun.
you. A tip of the cap.
When I want local flavor, I watch the Casey Malone Show.
Locally sourced is good, whether it's ingredients or a bank, and that's why my bank is Farmers National Bank. Since 1887, Farmers has remained rock solid through every economic condition. Having a bank with a history of safety, soundness, and conservative management is a must. It all boils down to this. You need a bank that will help you reach your goals. I do too, and Farmers is mine. Farmers National Bank, rock solid.
This year's primary is March 19th. Don't forget to vote.
Early in-person and absentee voting begin on February 21st.
Our elections are safe, secure, and transparent.
Every vote counts.
Election day is March 19th.
Locally owned, Hurricane Health and Wellness will help you weather the storm of your weight loss struggles. Safe and discreet, our experienced telemed team will prescribe the proper weight loss medication. Powerful weight loss solutions. Hurricane Health and Wellness.
I'm Elizabeth Bernard. For more than 30 years, I've provided our Valley with sound legal advice. My associate Jennifer Rigetti and I will be your legal representatives if you're involved in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident. Don't try to handle it yourself. We'll navigate the red tape of dealing with doctors, medical insurance, and all the obstacles that you'll face. Remember, there are no upfront fees on personal injury cases, and hiring a lawyer does not mean you have to go to court.
Call attorney Elizabeth Bernard, local legal experience for more than 30 years.
Rulli Brothers is way ahead of the competition. Check out Rulli Spice World, where you can buy bulk herbs and spices, plus candies, nuts, and fillings for pennies on the dollar. At Rulli Brothers Market, our family is in the store.
It's happening now. Construction is underway at GABA Camp, a year-round destination for adults with disabilities and their families to get away, close to home, accessible to all, with no barriers. Donate now to GABA Camp. Giving is living.
You better come on in my kitchen.
Well, I got to tell you, Craig and Michelle have an awesome setup over there at a Tip of the Cap Mushrooms. So I'm going to be preparing a mushroom barley soup with some of their mushrooms. But I wanted to show you that I too can grow mushrooms. I got this mushroom growing kit from them, and this is the pink oysters, and I think tomorrow they're going to be ready to harvest. So how cool is that? I'm making my own mushrooms, man. So that was very cool, and that was a lot of fun being over there. And I've got a variety of mushrooms that I'm going to use, and it will be kind of vegetarian because I'm not going to use any beef, but I am going to use beef stock. But if you don't want to, you can use a chicken stock or even a vegetable stock. But I do recommend a pearled barley because it doesn't need to cook as long. Just make sure that you rinse it real well before you use it in the soup. So let's get started, and we'll go over all the ingredients for mushroom barley soup. For this recipe, you'll need 1/4 cup of olive oil, 1 cup of chopped onion, 1 cup of chopped carrots, and 1 cup of chopped celery, 3 cloves of garlic minced, 1 teaspoon of fresh thyme chopped, 2 32-ounce cartons of beef, chicken, or vegetable stock, 1 pound of fresh mushrooms. I'm going to use pink oyster, freckled chestnut, and lion's mane. 1 cup of pearled barley rinsed, salt and pepper to taste, and chopped thyme and parsley for garnish. Well, before we start cooking, I'm going to chop up these gorgeous mushrooms. You still want them to be, you know, bite-sized. They will reduce a little bit when you're cooking them, but they really add such a nice flavor and different textures. And this lion's mane, let me tell you, it is just, look at that. You can make steaks out of this. And you just chop that into about, you know, 1/4 inch block. And this is a brand new one for me, the freckled chestnut. And just look how beautiful they are. And you just, I don't even want to break up the things, but they are just, I'm eating one, delicious. So use your steep pot, Dutch oven, 1/4 cup of olive oil. It's nice and shimmery. So I'm going to add the vegetables, the carrots, the onion, the celery, and you know, I'm using a cup each, but you can add more. I like a lot of vegetables in my soups. And then 3 cloves of garlic. So we are just gonna stir this around 5 to 10 minutes until it softens. So our veggies have softened nicely. Now it is time for the shrooms. Oop, in they go. Oh, and it's beautiful. You're gonna love this. This is a great, rich soup. No meat. So then what I'm gonna do is use about a teaspoon, so half of this thyme, and I'll use the rest for garnish. And then I'm just going to mix this, coat it with the oil and vegetables before I add the stock and the barley. So now I'm gonna add the stock. Now I'm using beef, but really you can use whatever you like. And oh my gosh, if you have homemade stock, make sure you use that. But I think the beef adds that richness, especially with the barley. And it's just so much easier to buy the stock. I made turkey stock once though, after Thanksgiving. And I'll tell you, it was really good. I did like a turkey noodle soup. Okay, so we've got that in. Now, what we're gonna do is add the barley. Pearled barley, make sure you buy that because it doesn't take as long to cook and soften. Make sure you rinse it just like you do the rice for risotto. And then I'm gonna stir this, and I'm going to turn up the heat, bring it to a boil for a little bit, and then I'll turn it back down, partially cover it, and it's probably gonna be between 45, 60 minutes. And this soup will be done. So you can see it is nice rolling boil. Now what we're gonna do is just partially cover it, leave a little vent, and then I'm gonna put it down to simmer. So, 1 hour, this rich, hearty soup. It is so good. Honestly, I've made this dozens of times, and it really is so comforting. You're gonna love it, regardless of what mushrooms you use and what stock you use. You can use chicken or vegetable, but it really is a filling soup. And because of that, I'm using a little more lighter wine. It's a Vinho Verde from Esprel, Portuguese, super reasonable, and it has like a little effervescence, so it cuts through all those wonderful flavors. Delicious. You really are going to love this soup, and you saw how easy it is to make. Go to my website, CaseyMaloneShow.com, and look for the recipe for my mushroom barley soup. Cheers.
For more information regarding any content from our show, please visit our website, CaseyMaloneShow.com. Your comments and ideas are appreciated. The Casey Malone Show is sponsored in part by Denise and John York and the DeBartolo Corporation.